So Noble Ali was the first to teach us about Moors and that we were Moors. And you'll find that every organization after the Moorish Science Temple of America was affected by the teachings of Noble Ali. But you rarely hear about him, and most don't even know who he is.
The first time that Elijah Muhammad came to New York after I had accepted Islam, Brother Malcolm was alive at that time and his New York minister. The first, it was October 1956. I'm sorry, 55. Elijah Muhammad spoke on two men who were the forerunners to him. Noble Drew Ali was number one, and Marcus Garvey was number two.
Noble Drew Ali taught that so-called black people in America were in fact Moors, descendants of Morocco and born in America. Ancient Morocco,
Forgive me, my lord.
not to be confused with the modern Moroccan state.
You cannot save those people, Christian, but you can save me.
They're coming, Robin. Robin, come on!
Christian! Why should I? For pity's sake. Mine is a sentence of death.
No, Robin, he's a Moor. Don't listen to him.
Set me free. I will show you a way out.
A curse on Moors and Saracens. Were it not for their ungodly ways, Master Robin would never have left. What manner of name is Hazim? Irish? Cornish?
Moorish.
Look to her, Moor, if thou hast eyes to see. She has deceived her father and made thee.
My life upon her faith.
Morocco is a great secret in the Freemasonic traditions and history. We never stop to think and ask ourselves, what is our relationship to it, and what is its relationship to us? So here's a quick breakdown. How do we go from Moor to Black? Are there any words bridging the gap between Moor and Black? The answer is yes. Ancient Kemet / Moabite Mera or Moor. The Greek Morus. Medieval Latin Morus. Blackamoor is from the 1500s. EtymaOnline.com. The English Moor, 1400s. Black, meaning a black person, African, is from the 1600s. So here you can see the breakdown. So what did Noble Drew Ali teach? And are there any teaching it today?
See, in this third eye, I want manifested out there. Not what's going on over there. That's an illusion.
Yes.
Praise the Lord.
Yes. Praise the Lord.
That's
right. Praise the Lord.
But we first have to do that within ourselves.
That's right, sister.
I came to earth to unfold into my higher self.
Yes. Yes.
And to be a pattern for Allah.
Wow.
To express Allah. That's what and my thing is, Allah's thing through me is cleanse the vessel. Because we all have, it told me it was pieces of the puzzle. Some have this to put, and then some, you got another piece of the puzzle, you got another piece, you got another piece, and put all these pieces together. Your piece ain't no better than mine, and mine ain't no better than yours.
That's right.
You know. So as we learn to put these pieces, but first we have to learn our piece. Because sometimes we label us something that we ain't, or we have not attained yet.
Right.
So my thing is, I've got to purify. Like you said, Marcus Garvey came before Prophet Noble Drew Ali to prepare us for that message. Cleansing our ego. That's the first one. No red tells us. Vanity, ego is the wealth of the mouth. And we all got it.
Islam, I'm here with Brother Moreland Hill at Noble Drew Ali's birthday celebration here at the Dare Park. Islam, Morus.
Islam.
Islam, Morus. So I'm asking all the Moors, what brought you out today? I know that's a rhetorical question.
I came out because today's the day that Allah sent the Prophet to us to raise us up from a dead level to a living perpendicular, to teach those things to us necessary for us to become better citizens, to bring us from the darkness of the graves to the marvelous light, and to teach us to know ourselves, you know, and to praise Allah properly again, just like our ancient forefathers, you know, where Allah is the only thing, and everything trickles down from there.
All right. It's a little loud. Islam, I'm here with Grand Sheikh Moreland Hill. We had to step outside. It was a little bit loud, and I was proposing the question to him, what brought him out today, and why should our people study Noble Drew Ali?
Our people should study Noble Drew Ali in order that they can study themselves. Because Prophet Noble Drew Ali is the one who brought us back the truth about ourselves. We were ignorant, we were assimilated into the Greco-Roman society where we knew nothing about ourselves or anybody else. Greco-Roman society teaches us romanticism, all right, which is fantasy. All right, everything about that society revolves around fantasy. We are here to demonstrate truth because our principles are love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And Jesus said, know the truth, and the truth will make you free. So without knowing the truth, we cannot be free. And this is why Prophet Noble Drew Ali came to us, why Allah sent him to us, is so that we can know the truth, and we can be ourselves, and we can make ourselves free. We can only free ourselves. Nobody's going to free us. We can only free ourselves by being ourselves. Without nationality, you don't know your forefathers, you don't know your genetic code, you don't know your divine creed. You know, here in Americans, you got Japanese Americans, French Americans, Chinese Americans, Chinese Americans, English Americans. Show me on any map what nation represents black. There is not one. There's no Negro land, no colored land. You have to have a nation that you look to with pride, one to demonstrate your own culture. We are a cultural people, and without our culture, we don't know how to praise our God correctly, because your praising of your God comes from your culture. So without our culture, we're doing it somebody else's way.
I came out here to be with my people, you know, in a land that we're fighting to be conscious, but to also express our consciousness. It's a pleasure to be around people who are demonstrating to know thyself. You know, they lower self and they higher self. So I came out here to be amongst my people.
Islam. And so why should we celebrate Noble Drew Ali's birthday, his solar return?
Why not? You know, he brought us back into the fourfold of government, and he showed us how to properly respect and honor our ancestors. So, yeah, we got to give honors where honors is due.
Islam is, we got it too, more. Ancient Morocco is not to be confused with the present-day Morocco, African state. At the height of its power and splendor, the Moroccan Empire's influence extended from northwest to southwest Africa, across the Great Atlantic, even unto the present North, South, and Central America, Mexico, the Philippines, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Hawaii, and the islands of Indonesia. Moroccan Moabites and Moroccan Arabs. Moors, descendants of Morocco, are not Arabs. The original Moors are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, who are the biblical sons and daughters of Hamitic or Kemetic civilization. Moroccan Arabs are either Roman Arab immigrants or the former blended with the latter. When one sees a Moor being referred to as a Semite, it is in reference to the Moroccan Arab stock. Thus the Moors, Moroccan Arabs, are basically Arab Muslims whose installation in Africa is quite recent. Numerous manuscripts preserved by the principal families in Mauritania today since their departure from Yemen testify to this origin, according to Sheikh Anta Diop, African Origin of Civilization. However, J. Rogers, author and historian, points out in 100 Amazing Facts About the Negro that the original Moors are indeed descendants of the sons and daughters of Ham. He states, the most ancient names for so-called black people are Nesu, Nubian, Ethiopian, and Moor from ancient Egypt. Moors are descendants of the ancient Moabite or Hamitic people. When one hears of the Moorish invasion of Spain, they may be under the assumption, due to traditional colonial miseducation, that Moors were Arab and not African. However, this is a misconception. According to J. Rogers in his classical work, Nature Knows No Color Line, he states, these Africans were Moors, sometimes called Arabs because of their language. Further, George G.M. James, author of Stolen Legacy, states, in the 7th century AD, the Moors, i.e. natives of Mauritania in North Africa, invaded Spain and took with them the Egyptian culture they preserved. He further states, as such, the people of North Africa were the neighbors of the Egyptians and became the custodians of Egyptian culture, which they spread throughout considerable portions of Africa, Asia Minor, and Europe. Terms such as Negro, Black, Colored, Ethiopian, African, etc., used by many in referring to Moorish people as a crime against humanity. One may speak of a person's complexion as being black, brown, tan, or pale, but in reference to nationhood, this is a sin. During the Atlantic slave trade, descendants of Africa, Moors, were branded with the names of their slaveholders. As a result of this crime, the slaves lost their true lineage, which was personified in their proper and free and national names. The names Chong, Jose, Bob, and Schumann all tell you of the nationality of those who carry them. Just as the descendants of Africa were stripped of their personal identity, so were they robbed of their national names. Descendants of these slaves, regardless of their pedigree, have since been lumped into several conglomerations of social classification.
A long time ago, we were living far away, over there where the sun rises. That's where we first lived.
Come in and destroyed these African cities and populations, and then started attacking the non-Africans in the Americas that we call Indians. And this friar came in, and he found some of the Africans who were here that your history book now calls Aztec. Now, you have to understand, they didn't call themselves Aztec no more than Ramses and those other Africans called themselves Egyptians. Mm-hmm. Those are names that came on afterward. The term Aztec is actually derogatory. These were Moors. These were Islamic-believing brothers. These were Christian-believing brothers and sisters living in Mexico who had come over on those 2,500 ships that had come out of West Africa in 1306 and 1311. We have good records on those ships coming across the Atlantic. The failure was that the black historians didn't follow them to try to find out if there were records on this side that showed what happened to them after they left Senegambia, that Dr. Ivan Van Sertima told us about, and Basil and others. Well, there is a good record here. They started recording their histories when they got here, saying, and we arrived in the ships. We landed south of Texas at a city called Panuco now. We came in to the Valley of Mexico and into the highland areas. We had wars. We made some alliances. We became powerful, and eventually we became the most powerful. These are the Mandinkas and the Fulani of West Africa who had come over.